Well, women, do you think you're treated fairly at the workplace? Are you just as likely to get promoted as your male counterpart? Our next guest says you have several secret weapons.
She is the author of the book, Executive Presence, The Missing Link Between Merit and Success. Sylvia Ann Hewlett joins us live today. Good morning to you.
It's great to be here, Steve.
It's great to have you. All right, let's talk a little bit about executive presence. When it comes to women, you have some do's and don'ts. Some of the do's: wear simple statement clothes, well-cut jeans with a colorful top. Now, I never thought you should wear jeans to start with.
Here's the thing, Steve. You need, to fit in with flair, or whatever your context. In Silicon Valley, for instance, the nerdy, schlumpy hoodie thing doesn't work for women.
Right.
And it's there that the well-cut jeans and the statement top, important. But on Wall Street, obviously a well-cut skirt, that fabulous shift dress, that's the way to go.
That's a woman using her asset.
Exactly. But the great good news of this book is that convincing your colleagues, and, I've got 4,000 of them in this book, that you have what it takes to be picked out for the next big opportunity. It's about gravitas. It's about communication skills. Appearance comes in a distant third. Your workwear needs to make you feel invincible, not vulnerable.
So it's a tool.
Make you feel good for sure, but
Exactly.
you come under fire for it too. Focusing too much on looks, people say that women shouldn't be so focused about what we look like and what we're wearing, but what our mind can do, what our voice can do.
And that's why it's so comforting. 70% of leaders out there are saying that gravitas, figuring out how to signal, how to telegraph that you know your stuff cold, that you're 3 questions deep on your field of expertise is the way to go. And how do you get that across? Communication skills, amazingly important these days. And you've got to be concise, and you've got to be very compelling. And one thing, women are really good at is having a few facts, but also having the story.
Sure.
Men, for instance, in this book are challenged on the empathy front, showing that you have IQ, that you can get buy-in from your team, because our teams these days are global.
Right.
Oftentimes our marketplaces are very diverse. So men have to get outside of their own space, right? And, instead of having binders full of women, actually figure out how to relate to them, perhaps.
Sure. Right. So show that, show that you're in touch with your emotions at the same time.
Exactly.
Show you're really a man. Also, a little thing that you think is important is your presentation and your voice.
Yes.
Keep it low. Don't speak loud.
Right. Under stress.
For women.
Well, men too, I think. Voices get higher when you are stressed out. If you can bring it down, it does amazing things to your control. But the other thing, I feel that these days it's as though we have to have our mini TED Talks. These endless PowerPoints don't do us any good anymore. And again, there are some amazing pointers in terms of what our bosses are looking for, in terms of why they would pick you as opposed to someone else for the next job.
Stop right there. Why would somebody pick you rather than the next person? What should you really excel at during that interview, or just day-to-day at the job?
I think the compelling, concise 3 points of great value that you put over in a meeting. And you do it extemporaneously. You don't do it looking at notes, right?
Yeah, looking at a PowerPoint.
Right.
You say women, we are too focused on getting all the facts right that we aren't as good at just faking it till we make it if we have to.
Exactly.
You say to look active and fill silence with words. What do those two things mean?
Well, I interviewed a lot of women from the South, for instance. They oftentimes are brought up to fill the air with words. That's been a good hostess. But oftentimes that undermines you just rambling. So again, create some space. Be very thoughtful and intentional.
Don't talk too much?
Exactly. But know what you're putting out there that's value added to the conversation, right? An enormously important thing. Things like body language. Sitting around a table with your back straight. Not fiddling with your iPhone. That's huge.
Right.
Paying attention. Eye contact. Massive.
All right.
So there are tips, but interestingly, men commit a lot of these mistakes, not just women, and there's some particular hurdles for people of color.
A lot of people say I prefer teleconferences now because I know they'll be staring straight into the camera and not at their iPhones. A lot of times at boardrooms, people will be staring at their iPhones in the middle of meetings.
But how'd you get that personal magic going?
Sure.
The empathy factor, harder if it's virtual. And I guess the other thing is, figure out what your authenticity is. You know, how to be the best version of you. I grew up in the coal mining valleys in England, and I had to, you know, figure out how to lose that working class accent. I ended up, you know, listening to the BBC World Service for 2 years, trying to get the tones down. And I think looking back, I probably overcorrected.
Right.
You know, because, okay, I needed to fix my grammar, learn how to speak well. But did I have to lose that regional accent?
Yeah, you still want to be true to yourself, too,
exactly.
So,
like,
you know, Audrey Hepburn and My Fair Lady.
Yes, absolutely.
Sylvia, thank you so much. The book is Executive Presence. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Terrific.
All right, coming up next, a total different topic. Terror at the beach. A great white shark on the attack, for example.